All-American honors. Winners, you move on. If you lose this consolation bout, your season is done. That's what's at stake.
But you can win 7 straight matches and be the 3rd place finisher, and that's happened several times. Not frequent. It's just the guttiest way to be able to get that 3rd place award. But you see the strangest matchup sometimes. To see the wrestlers wrestling, where you thought they might be wrestling in the quarters, they'll end up wrestling in the wrestlebacks. Kumara from Oklahoma State jumping out to a 10-2 lead in the 3rd period. He's done a nice job of adding to that lead. And again, bonus points are just as important in the consolation round. They count for the same amount. So a major decision is 1 point.
Looking bout for Martinez of Air Force. Josh Martinez, the freshman from Colorado Springs, West Regional runner-up. Deep weight class for the West. Featured 4 wrestlers ranked in the top 15. He lost to Franco in the finals from North Dakota State, but he is really taking it to Terrell right now. 9-0 with the lead. Business. He has a 10-2 advantage. Gerard Garnett, one of the surprises in the first round from Virginia Tech. The ACC champion, most outstanding wrestler at the ACC championships. Let's see how he bounces back. Jim, let's put on the coaching hat now from your days with Iowa State. When you had a guy like Garnett get stunned in the first round, what was your approach trying to get them regrouped mentally for the consolation side?
Well, you just got to tell them you're here for the whole till the whole tournament's over. You're here till they tell you you can't come back out there on the mat. And so, not everybody's going to get into the final. Not everybody's going to be a national champion, but everybody can go ahead and have a good tournament. It might include a loss along the way, but let's face it, he was number 5 seed and wasn't predicted to get in the finals. It doesn't mean you can't achieve your goal of becoming an All-American. Your other goal of becoming a national champion is out the window. So you can sulk about that, and I just tried to get guys to kind of give me better body language and understand what the challenge was ahead of them, and make sure that they do the technical things correct in preparation, and also out there on the mat to be able to go out there and give it their best, and give it what they've been working for throughout their careers. And at this point in time in the consolation rounds, you're really wrestling for your program, your teammates, yourself, your family, and find other means of motivation that should be there all the time, but they just won't come to more to the forefront. So you remind them of those why you're here, what you're doing, and go out there with a clear head and try to execute and create good habits.
And that's still with a 2-0 lead for the Hokies. Gambucci of Duke. He surprised some folks in the ACC with his showing. He really came on like gangbusters toward the tail end of the season. He has a 4-3 lead on Franco of Hofstra.
And I think this is the fair part of this tournament, is the fact that it's double elimination. Decades ago, that you'd have to have your guy that beat you had to get all the way to the finals before you'd be able to wrestle back. And a lot of guys were eliminated that way, but I think this is really fair to have a pure double elimination tournament, to have an opportunity to wrestle all the way back and become an All-American. So, again, don't let one bad match beat you twice.
Spino, North Carolina State, Bruno, Michigan getting started, 133 pounds. See Franco on top of Gambucci. Gambucci trying to slip through the back door for Duke.
You know, the other thing, too, that I think is pretty important in consolation wrestling is that you wrestle it like you'd wrestle in the championship round. You stay disciplined. You try to create scoring. You try to create offense, but you don't go for the crazy stuff that you wouldn't do in a dual meet or a tournament or a qualifier. You wouldn't do in the championship round. You just wrestle solid, but obviously aggressive and with urgency. And if you find yourself down in these consolation matches, you definitely have to change the tempo of these matches. You try to go ahead and test the other guy's heart and test the other guy's will to go ahead and make weight the next day.
George DiCamillo of Virginia. 30-9 on the season, the freshman. Highland Heights, Ohio. Wrestling a familiar opponent in Spute of Virginia Tech.
Also underway, at number 6, 2-0 for Bruno from Michigan over Spino from North Carolina State.
Time Ohio State champion, scoreless halfway through the first period. DiCamillo in on a leg as he tries to bring Spute back on. Let's see how he finishes this off.
Doing the right thing, continually trying to move back. He's got to do it without putting too much weight in his heels because he's susceptible to being ankle picked there by the right arm of DiCamillo. Actually, Spute. All the way back. So if he could have come back a little bit further, he had more real estate to work with. Now he's got the same problem. He's going to score here, but I like to see guys go all the way back to that middle line. You know, if you can go ahead and do that, and if he reaches back on you, just clobber him with your hips and sprawl on him. So
the dynamics of the ACC will change next year with the arrival of Pitt. You know, so much has been made of conference shuffles and shakings, and wrestling is being impacted as well. Pitt will be joining the ACC next year. Maryland will be leaving the following year to join the Big Ten. That goes into effect for the 2014-2015 year. So next season, 7 teams competing in that ACC conference.
You know, I know wrestling isn't the focus of conference realignment, but it appears that wrestling hasn't got the benefit of these realignments. And I know that's, I don't speak for every particular situation, but Missouri moving to the Southeast Conference where there's no wrestling hasn't benefited anybody in the sport.
Yeah, both Missouri and Northern Iowa jumping ship to join the MAC this year.
Yeah.
Old Dominion will be leaving the Colonial this year, their final season competing in that conference. Taking a trip across our quad view, Franco and Gambucci knotted up at 4. DiCamillo with that takedown toward the edge of the mat. He has a 2-0 lead for the Cavaliers. Gerard Garnett, 4-1. Bounce back performance from Garnett over Soto of Chattanooga, the mock. And it's Bruno from Michigan with a 4-0 lead on Sam Spino from North Carolina State. Bruno is a true freshman out of Brandon, Florida. Competed at Brandon High School. He was a 5-time Florida State champion, the first ever 5-timer in the Sunshine State.
Scoreless in the first period.
Finished 7th at the Big Ten tournament, part of that Florida pipeline for Michigan, both Bruno and Grajales from Brandon High School. Go into a sudden victory between Gambucci and Franco. First one to score wins, a 1-minute sudden victory for the Blue Devil and the Pride wrestler Franco.
Gambucci's been kind of the aggressor with the overhook tie there.
Gerard Garnett gets the fall for Virginia Tech. So the 5th seed Garnett with the win.
Franco from Hofstra was able to go ahead and get a bear hug off that overhook tie of Gambucci's and drive through it and get to hook the far leg and get a 2-point takedown right at the edge of the net.